And now we're going to take you through professional video, using the digital Betacam and going right through every function and every menu so that you really know what's going on. It starts with mounting your camera though, safely. And the trick to that is right at the beginning, before you even mount your base plate, make sure that your head is well secured and that you can put weight on it. And then you think about your base plate, make sure that's been properly screwed in, not too tight, finger tight.
Mount your sliding plate into the head.
Check that it's on properly.
Okay. Camera into the slot, properly in the front. Click on the back here.
And then immediately check that it is mounted before you let go of the camera and make sure that you're tightened off. Your next trick is to balance the camera. Whenever you come to a camera that's mounted on a tripod, the first thing you do is loosen the tilt. And in this case, the camera is badly balanced and falls forward. And that's unprofessional. You need to balance your camera. So that's what we will do now by shifting it backwards on the nodal head and testing, releasing, shifting some more, releasing. The camera is perfectly balanced.
Lock off.
And then whenever you're finished with the camera, you always lock it off on the tilt. The pan can stay unlocked. That's the pan action, because your camera is never going to fall sideways off the tripod. The next thing you do is check the front of your lens and make sure that there's no cracks or smudges or anything wrong. And then you need to set your eye to this particular camera, because everyone has different eyes. And what you're setting your eye to is the focal plane of the camera, or the ground glass in the case of film. So, from the lowest VHS camera through to the highest professional camera, every single one of them has got an eyepiece focus. In this case, it's on the top here. You put your eye against the eyepiece and you focus on the writing or on the crosshairs of the ground glass, not on anything outside of the camera, because you don't know yet whether your eye is set to the camera. Focus on the writing or on the crosshairs. Color bars allow you to set a reference standard in brightness and contrast between the monitor in your eyepiece, the monitor on your edit suite, or the television at home. So always set your eyepiece to the bars.
First you switch on to bars, then you go to your brightness knob and get a general relative difference between black and white. If you turn your contrast button, the picture in your eyepiece will actually get more contrasty or less contrasty. You select the right contrast between the black on the right and the white on the left of your eyepiece monitor. The second darkest bar must be just visible next to your black bar. If you have a monitor, before you shoot, you must match your monitor to your camera. The best way to do that is to send bars from your camera to your monitor. Once you have your color bars on your camera, you're going to give yourself a black and white picture. You need to adjust three things. You need to adjust brightness, chroma, and contrast. Your brightness will brighten the whole screen. You must try and keep all of your blacks and whites. On your contrast, you can change the range of your blacks to your whites. You should be setting the bars as equal as you can. All the blacks must be equal to each other, all the whites must be white and equal to each other. On your chroma, you must keep the bottom blocks as equal as possible and keep the top as equal as possible. If you go too far down with no chroma, it just becomes a black and white picture of those. Those are the luminance values of those specific colors that you see. So you bring it up until your bars are black, white, black, white, black, white.
Right, now that you've set your monitor and your eyepiece, you're going to check on the focus of the camera. So you zoom into your subject and you set the focus. Carefully coasting through it once or twice and then settling on the perfect place. When you zoom out, the subject should stay in focus, and as you can see now, it's gone soft. And what this means is that you have a back focus problem, and that can be fixed by the operator. Collimation problems are different. You send that to the manufacturer. The way you do that is by using a focus chart, or you can use a newspaper or a magazine, something with small type that allows you to see when you zoom in, as we're doing now, and setting your focus.
That
And it seems to be sharp all the way through. So the back focus problem is solved, and this is to avoid you zooming in or out on a subject and then suddenly finding it going soft, and the shot becomes unusable and your reputation suffers. So do check the back focus prior to shooting.
Don't forget to lock off this back focus collar.
And especially, thank you Vincent, don't forget to lock off this back focus collar. Now we move on to the hand grip, which contains the servo motors that control the lens, the iris and the zooming. You have a zoom toggle which allows you to go wider and tighter. You have an auto and a manual switch for your iris. Now when it's on manual, you can push the little button right next to it, and it takes an auto reading while you are pushing the little button, and then when you let go, it reverts back to manual at the setting you've just taken, allowing you to take exposures very quickly.
If you look at the iris ring,
Hit it.
as you come to 1 times, it will stop down those 2.5 stops on this doubler, or it will open up as you go tighter to compensate for the light lost by the doubler. There is a macro facility on this camera. There's a lever near the back focus collar. All you have to do is pull the macro lever out, then you can shift the macro collar around.